right, welcome everybody to the latest edition of Dollar Bin Digging. You can find the article over on comicbookinvest.com as well as the videos here on my channel, Rennavision. Hopefully you guys are following and subscribing to my channel and are taking part of the latest giveaway that I have going on. I'm giving away a couple of G.I. Joe books in basic celebration for hitting 600 subscribers. Every 100 subscribers up until I reach 1,000, I'm going to give something away. So we hit 6, so I got a giveaway going on right now. So please go over to my channel and check it out to get yourself entered for free books. I mean, that's all you got to do. Very easy. That being said, please like, subscribe, hit the alert button if you like what I'm doing here, and just hang on for a second, and I'm going to get into a couple of Sandman books. Now, as I just teased in the opening there, we're going to be looking at a couple of Sandman books. Granted, there was an announcement as far as casting goes a little while ago that was, very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to this. Morpheus Dream being cast by the kid from Pirate Radio, which is an excellent film, by the way. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. I think he's going to do a good job. And that initial run of characters, drove a lot of books, in the Sandman universe to basically jump in value. But this week we just had a second batch of announcements with some even more characters coming. And granted, most of these characters are in those first few issues and are already pricey books, and you may not want to chase them all, but here I'm going to give you a couple of options of things looking ahead, because this is going to Netflix, and we're probably going to get more than one season. So if they're most likely covering what it seems to be the first 2 volumes of the Sandman epic, I got to imagine the next season might cover, 3rd and 4th volume, and those are some books later down the line which may still be in those cheap boxes, because I've talked about Sandman quite a few times in Dollar Bin Digging, because you should be picking up any that you find just to read them. This is an excellent read. I got the first omnibus here. They're a little pricey, but I'm going to try to get all 3 because this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous book. I like the binding and everything about it. It's really cool. That being said, what are we going to get into first with Sandman? As I noted, you're not going to find those major keys in the dollar bins. You're not going to find a Sandman 1. You're not going to find a number 4, First Lucifer. You're not going to find an 8, First Death. Those aren't books you're going to find in the dollar bins anymore. It's just not going to happen unless you're extremely, extremely lucky. And beyond that, there's even more that have gotten, pretty much out of reach based on some of these earlier announcements and people just speculating on what could be coming already. So issue 10 is one that's already gotten pretty pricey. That was initially not really doing much. And based off these recent announcements, it didn't take very long for this issue 13 to jump up too, because this is the first appearance of John Constantine's, I think it's Josephine. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but his ancestor, an ancestor of Constantine, first appears here in this Doll's House issue. Again, it looks like that's what they may be covering in season 1 based on the casting announcements that they had laid out. And so John Constantine's ancestor is going to be played by the girl from Doctor Who. I think it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it for sure. But most of this is probably going to be out of reach. As I said, those books have already gotten pretty pricey. I mean, this book already here is hitting like 40, 50 bucks pretty easily. It's just going to get harder and harder to find in those cheap boxes. But what you might be able to scoop out here and there are some of the reprints, those things that you should not ignore. Like the Millennium Edition is one that I kind of mentioned, I think, before. I was mostly covering other Millennium Edition books, but I think I noted the Sandman book. But Sandman 1, in the Millennium Edition, has a nice little foil stamp on it. It's a pretty good book and a nice little pickup. I think you can get like 20 bucks for one if you find it. And a lot of times these reprints, nobody, they don't care. They put them in these cheap boxes, and they just get, they just sit there forever because a lot of people just look down upon reprints. But reprints are a very cheap way to get a book that you otherwise couldn't afford. And some of them actually have some value themselves. Like I said, some of these Millenniums are worth a couple of bucks. Now, there's also a run of the Essential Vertigo that also reprinted I don't want to say most, it's probably about half of the Sandman series. I think they went up to issue 32, thereabouts. So those books, just like the Walking Dead weeklies or other reprints, those certain key issues in the reprints could still have a little bit of interest. So if you get the reprint issues, Essential Vertigos of 1, 4, 8, 10, those types of things are going to be books that people will look out for if they can't get the regular versions. So you keep an eye out for them and scoop them up if you can. And again, just get them to read. a fantastic read. So just get these books by Neil Gaiman just to read. If you find any books, any Sandman book, $1 or $2, I recommend grabbing it. And just try to get yourself to complete a run, or just go out and buy those trades. And there's even another Essential Vertigo Essentials, that's like an even more recent reprint that, again, doesn't do very well. But if you see one, scoop it up for $1, because these books, again, are very cheap and are worth picking up. That being said, moving on down the list, if you can't find those reprints, another thing to begin looking ahead towards is, again, what I said, what maybe they would be doing volumes 3 and the story 4 in the next season or so of Sandman, which would introduce us more to some more of the his extended family there. A lot of them have been introduced in that first run, but Delirium is one that I think is introduced in issue 21, which is, again, an issue you might be able to find for cheap, because everybody's looking for those early editions. Some of these random later editions could be found in those boxes. Issue 22 heated up a while ago because it had first Daniel Hall in it, I believe, and that one's already kind of spiked a bit, so people might have ignored the issue right before it, 21, which is the first Delirium in the Sandman comics. So that's one that we might see, like, down the line. They introduce us to a few more of his extended family in the next volume, in the next series. They're not going to throw everybody all at us at once. Maybe they'll trickle some more out over the following seasons. So that's why I'm thinking this might be an interesting play to keep an eye out for. And there's, again, an Essential Vertigo version of this book as well, because they ran through, I think, the first 32 issues. So issue 21 has an Essential Vertigo version as well to keep an eye out for. I don't think it sells for very much, but hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened with second prints, reprints. So keep an eye out for it. Low print runs, and who knows? Who knows what may spike coming in the future? Keeping in this same storyline timeline, I'm also going to look at my next book, which is issue 25, which is the first Dead Boy Detectives. Now, what I think is interesting about this pick, or this potential option, is that not only may we get them in the Netflix series, we are supposed to be getting them, I believe, in the Doom Patrol, the next season of Doom Patrol. I think they're supposed to be appearing as they cast I think kids to play them already. So in Doom Patrol Season 3, we're going to get the Dead Boy Detectives. Will they cross over? Will they be the same actors? Will Netflix and HBO Max play ball and play in the same yard? That I don't know, but it is an interesting idea. And this book's already starting to get a little bit tougher to find. It's starting to sell for maybe about $20, but you still might be able to, again, sneak those out of those cheap boxes, because outside of those major keys, a lot of Sandman books I find, a lot of Vertigo books in general, I find in a lot of cheap $1 to $2 boxes. And I see plenty, A Game of You, which is a great run and a great read, and a possibility for maybe the third season of Sandman. That is a great storyline, and one that they could adapt, again, down the line. So look for those books. I see tons of those issues in the 30s. So Sandman, as it went on, it became a more popular series, and there were more copies printed. So in the 90s, there are issues out there, and why you can find some in those cheap boxes. And I still recommend getting them if you find them. I'm not saying buy every copy and buy multiples of everything. I mean, if you find the ones that have first appearances and keys, comicbookinvest.com, I believe my buddy Clint Joslin did a whole thing on Sandman a couple of years back. I'll link the article, his article, in my article, so you can go check it out. So if you check out my article on comicbookinvest.com, you could be connected to that, where he did like this complete kind of synopsis of the entire Sandman run, which is pretty cool. And maybe get yourself some of those, books to keep an eye out for later in the run. I'm only giving you 3 or so here, a few things just to look at. Make some other decisions based on other things that you see in that article, in those lists of characters that may appear later down the line. Just start thinking ahead, and that's how I like to do my collecting and digging, is just take a chance, because when we're talking about $1 or $2, this is the time to take a chance.
So what do you think?
Go on, honey, take a chance.
I'm not saying you go out, pay full market price, or catch FOMO and be buying things top of the market on eBay when you see them on a hot 10 list and things of that sort. I'm talking about find things for cheap, and maybe you can make yourself a couple of bucks, or maybe you just find something that you need for your collection, for very cheap, and you don't have to spend a lot to build out your own collection, or take that money that you made in a flip to build out your collection with other books that you want. It's really collect how you wish, do what you like. This is supposed to be fun. They're comic books after all. So hopefully you're liking the content that I'm providing. Please like, subscribe, hit that alert button so you don't miss anything on the channel. I've got more stuff coming. Hopefully you enjoyed my new series, Chasing Ghosts, where I cover those ghost, hard to find comics, impossible to find comics. Next week, I think I'm going to take some suggestions, some viewer suggestions. One, I'm not going to tell you outright from the beginning what the book is going to be, because then it's kind of spoiled and you have no reason to watch the video. And two, I might do more than one book per volume. Just extend it out. Maybe go for like a 10-minute video instead of a 5-minute video. Again, let me know what you guys like. Do you like a little bit of a longer form, or do you like this quick 5-minute, 10-minute? Would you rather see 20-minute? What is your preferred, time frame? Maybe I'll do that as one of my next giveaways. I'll make you guys tell me some market information so I know, what you guys want to see. I don't know, a bit late for that now. But that being said, take a look at these books. Catch any Sandman books that you find in those dollar bins and $2 bins and add them to your collection, even, like I said, just to read. And hopefully you're enjoying the content, and I will see you guys next time.